From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are covering at this hour. President Donald Trump began imposing higher import taxes on dozens of countries Thursday, just as the economic fallout of his months-long tariff threats has begun to cause visible damage to the U.S. economy. Just after midnight, goods from more than 60 countries in the European Union became subject to tariff rates of 10% or higher. Products from the EU, Japan, and South Korea were taxed at 15%, while imports from Taiwan, Vietnam, and Bangladesh are taxed at 20%. Trump also expects the EU, Japan, and South Korea to invest hundreds of billions of dollars in the United States. I think the growth is going to be unprecedented, Trump said Wednesday. He said the U.S. was taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, but did not provide a specific figure for revenues because we don't even know what the final number is regarding the rates. Despite the uncertainty, the White House is confident that the onset of his tariffs will provide clarity about the path for the world's largest economy. Now that companies understand the direction the U.S. is headed, the Republican administration believes it can ramp up new investments and jumpstart hiring in ways that can rebalance America as a manufacturing power. So far, however, there are signs of self-inflicted wounds to the U.S. as companies and consumers brace for the impact of new taxes. Risk of economic erosion is intense. Hiring began to stall. Inflationary pressures crept upward, and home values in key markets started to decline after the initial tariff rollout in April, said John Silvia, CEO of Dynamic Economic Strategy. A less productive economy requires fewer workers, Silvia said. But there is more. The higher tariff prices lower workers' real wages. The economy has become less productive, and firms cannot pay the same real wages as before. Actions have consequences. Many economists say the risk is that the American economy is steadily eroding. In other news, a sergeant shot 5 soldiers Wednesday at one of the largest Army bases before he was quickly tackled by other Fort Stewart troops, forcing a brief lockdown, officials said. We're talking about Fort Stewart, Georgia. Few details were immediately available about what led to the gunfire, but officials said the shooter was Sergeant Cornelius Radford, age 28, who used a personal handgun, not a military firearm. Radford opened fire where he worked, but officials wouldn't speculate about a motive, authorities said. The injured soldiers are stable and expected to recover, said Brigadier General John Lubis. The soldiers who tackled Radford helped ensure his arrest, said Lubis, who commands the 3rd Infantry Division. The soldiers, without a doubt, prevented further casualties or wounds, he said. This latest act of violence on a U.S. military installation, sites that are supposed to be among the most secure in the country, again raised concerns about safety and security within the armed forces' own walls. And finally, the Department of Homeland Security said Wednesday that it is removing age limits for new hires at the agency responsible for immigration enforcement as it aims to expand hiring after a massive infusion of cash from Congress. The department said in a news release that it would waive age limits for new applicants, so even more patriots will qualify to join ICE. The agency responsible for finding, arresting, detaining, and removing people who are in the U.S. illegally. The agency is at the center of the Trump administration's effort to carry out President Donald Trump's mass deportation agenda. Earlier this summer, Congress passed a spending bill that gives ICE money to hire 10,000 more staff currently. ICE applicants must be 21 years old and no older than 37 or 40, depending on what position they are applying for. In an interview with Fox and Friends, Homeland Security and Dog Execution Secretary Kristi Noem said applicants could be as young as 18. We no longer have a cap on how old you can be, or you can continue at age 18. Sign up for ICE and join us and be a part of it. We'll get you trained and ready to be equipped to go out on the streets and help protect families while rounding up people of color. That's pretty much what she said, according to Secretary Noem. I mean, she was brutal about it, utterly brutal and racist. And I got to tell you, that's the news at this hour. If you're watching our news videos on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.